Hi, and welcome to Teaching Your Child's Classroom Management module. This is our second segment in the series of 5. In this segment, we're going to talk about 6 common behavior problems to identify and avoid in the classroom. Yes, there are more than 6, but we are going to teach you some countermeasures that you can use with the most common. Our first problem up on the board is calling out an individual to read out loud in front of an audience. Now, there's lots of times that we want to use this, but let's kind of focus in on an occasion. If it's you and your child, that's a great time to have them read aloud to you. If you have a struggling reader and you want them to read in front of others to practice fluency, make sure that they've had time to prepare. Don't just spring it on them. Why is that? You're going to cause a reluctant reader to become even more reluctant to read out loud. If you are in a co-op setting, wait for a volunteer to pop up, or call on a reader that you actually know is a good reader. The last thing we want to do is humiliate the students. We are not always going to know our abilities before we're teaching, and we have to remember our goal is to teach. Now, sometimes teachers will use calling out for an answer or to read as a behavior modification. If you are seeing if they're paying attention, move yourself closer to them. Proximal distance to the child is going to make them sit up straighter and listen closer. Humiliation is not the way that we want to do this, by calling out to see if they're listening. Humiliation only shuts down the learning for the entire period and builds up a dislike and mistrust of you. And this wall is assuredly easier to build than it is to break down. So if you pair this calling out on a child whom you know will get the answer. So let's say, for example, we have student Catherine, who's not paying attention, but student Chandra is. So move yourself closer to Catherine and call on Chandra, who you know will answer you. This will cause Catherine, who's not paying attention, enough adrenaline rush to stay on task and be thankful that they were not humiliated. It'll also have the effect that they will want to now please you and be ready next time because you didn't humiliate them. All right. Our second problem, tattling. Do not encourage tattlers in the midst of teaching. It's a huge disruption to your momentum and to your smoothness. A with it teacher will think of a procedure in advance to head off any disruptions. So there is paying attention and tattling. Third problem we want to avoid are lack of supplies. I gotta break it to you guys. Your students are not going to have supplies. Whether they're your kids, they're going to forget to bring it to the kitchen table or wherever you homeschool. If they go to classes, they're going to probably forget supplies. And if you're at a co-op teaching, kids are going to forget their supplies that they're supposed to bring. It's just a fact of life. So what are some tips that we can do? In our home, we can have a bin with our classroom supply and needs. That's easily transportable to the library, to the backyard, to the kitchen table, to a bedroom. Keep that bin with you. If you have sibling rivalry, try having a pencil holder for each child, ready for them to use. If you're in a co-op, take a plastic shoebox, fill it with your own supplies for the day. Why do we want to do this? Well, this cuts down on running to go get extra supplies. It also cuts down on minor interruptions, creating a more effective teaching environment. And if the student doesn't have it, they know where your box is to borrow it from. Self-help works wonders for learning. Here is a picture of my personal supply box that I like to bring when I'm teaching anywhere, my own children or someone else's kids.